Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Martino Puccio, Matt Lasello here with you in the basement of La Penta. Okay, so moving on to the last segment of the Big Dance, we're doing our weekly draft scouting kind of discussion. Not really scouting that much. Well, we're talking about Dragan Bender, international prospect, obviously, 7 feet tall, standing reach of 9'3", by the way. Standing reach 9'3".
That's unreal. I'm just thinking about how
No.
how high
Think
up
about
9'3" is.
If you've watched him play, Draft Express is always the best for anything, because it's not highlights. They're actually looking at what makes a player, a strong prospect, and what makes him weak. He's got a wingspan of 7'2". He gained 15 pounds. He's 216 now. This was his last measurement in 2015.
What is he at? 7 foot even?
6'11" and a half.
6'11" and a half. Okay. 7 foot by the time he's in the NFL.
He's got really good shooting mechanics. Really good shooting mechanics for his size. His shot's really improving. He's really young too. He's born in '97, November of '97.
Okay, so he'll be 19. He's 18 still.
He's
No.
He'll be 19,
He'll be 19
by
the start of the season, pretty much. Okay.
He's not a stash kind of guy, so when he comes, he's playing.
Right.
Here to play.
Especially where he's headed. So.
Yeah. He is ranked number 3 in the prospects behind Ingram and Simmons. Pretty much everywhere he goes. Almost any team that's going to be picking third, if it's not Minnesota, is going to be taking him.
Right.
He's projected he could play a stretch kind of position, but it really all depends on how he develops on his shot. He's really skinny. He's a great passer. He is probably the best big man passer to come out since Pau Gasol. Talent-wise, it is really that great with passing. He could really handle the rock. He used to be a point guard just a few years ago.
Right.
Kind of like an Anthony Davis situation when AD skyrocketed up. He's got handles, so he's got really good fundamentals.
He's your classic foreign big man.
He's a really raw talent, though.
Right.
But
at 19, it's 18. It's worth the risk.
Oh,
and you
totally.
You'd still make the argument for Thon Maker,
especially for
sense.
Boston.
Right.
Boston is really the pick now. If it's a 45% chance to get in the top 3, which is really good odds, but it's still not even half.
Yeah.
It's not even 50% chance to get in the top 3. But anyways, say they stay at that spot, I think they are going there. If not, it's going to be a shooting guard. But Boston really would be a good fit. You could trade Sully, sell high on Sully because they've had problems with him with his weight issues.
Right.
You could trade Sully right away, go and get something for him, a nice score. You got to get a shooter. A shooter that's ready now, not an RJ Hunter type who can eventually be that kind of guy. But even he can be a shooter, though. That's the crazy thing. So a lot of people are saying Porzingis. No, he does not play like Kristaps at all. He doesn't have the length. Kristaps is still one of the most skilled players ever, talent-wise.
He's a shot blocker, also a defender. I don't think Bender fits that profile
Bender. Actually, now it says he's 225. Okay. He's still gonna have to put on a good 20 to 30 pounds.
Yeah, not as much as Porzingis still has to put on.
Porzingis has to put on.
Probably 30.
He doesn't really play that much at Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. But it's really he's got to be like a 12-minute kind of guy a night. Right. For his first season.
To get going.
Because you can see with Kristaps, too, I don't think they played him as much as they could have. There's going to be foul trouble, but he is much quicker than Porzingis is. To
be honest, as much as, and coming from a Knicks fan, as much as the whole head coaching situation is screwed up in New York, and front office and all of that, and that's another conversation for another day, but as far as all of that is concerned, I think the way Porzingis' minutes were handled was done correctly because after he played a lot early in the year, and after they reached the point where it was quite clear that there was no shot at the playoffs, there's no need to give him mellow minutes, and make him play 40 minutes a night for the rest of the year. When you have a huge growth spurt like Porzingis had, only 19 years old, it's not necessary. And I think they managed his minutes well. So Bender is probably going to be heading towards the same way, but even less minutes in Porzingis because
this guy's not going to be playing full-time starter until
there's
he's
no
23.
way. I mean, especially if he goes to Boston, because if he goes to Boston, Boston's obviously the postseason again.
They don't have to play him.
Right.
They don't have to play
If he goes to Phoenix or
they could trade him too.
They could trade him, but if he goes to Phoenix, that's something a little different because
they're
still not going to make the playoffs.
I think they're going to re-sign Len. I'm not really sure where Len's going to go.
Okay, I mean, but regardless, if he ends up in Phoenix, he's still is not. They're still not a playoff team. So there's no need to.
I don't think that would be a decent fit. Go play behind Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
They could go. I think they got to trade Bledsoe or Knight.
Well, I think it's got to be Bledsoe. I think it's a no-brainer.
Bledsoe's
Bledsoe coming off the injury, some off-court stuff. Brandon Knight came back from injury. Brandon Knight's.
Would you like Bledsoe on the Knicks in a 3-team trade? Send Melo somewhere?
No, I don't want Eric Bledsoe. No,
just an idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. He's a dynamic guard, but
it's not the best idea. It was just
it's just an idea. Yeah. But Brandon Knight always gets the butt end of jokes from being dunked on and crossed up and everything. But he's had a solid NBA career to start. So I think it's a no-brainer. He's got to be the one that stays. They've both bounced around a lot, so really it's pick your poison. But I think Knight's the one that stays.
Well, anyways, Dragan Bender, potential. He's so raw. It's really hard to project these kind of things, but I think ceiling-wise, he's really got a first-team All-NBA kind of ceiling. It just really depends on how he develops. He's got really good mechanics on his shot. It's just how much confidence he's going to have when he shoots, because you see that with Kelly Olynyk, too. It's just an example because I know Celtics kind of thing. Any guy who's not really that the best shooters are confident ones. Like a Melo, Curry, Kobe. I mean, LeBron's not really a confident shooter.
No.
If you think about it.
No.
So all those kind of guys. So it really depends on how confident he is in his skills. He could really run the floor, though. That's the scary thing.
Right.
And with American training, they gotta watch on how much weight he puts on and how fast, because the kid was still growing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
He's 7'1" now, actually.
Oh wow! So it's up an inch.
He's 7'1", 225.
Wow.
7'1".
Yeah, that's why
you gotta watch the kid move.
There has to be a lot of
He's
restrictions
so
for
fast.
2 years, maybe even 2 years. You have to let him. It's a way different style of play, also.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, he's just good in Europe. He can come over and do the same thing. It's completely different. That's why you see these foreign big men struggle. They don't. Now the NBA is transitioning towards that way, so it does favor the foreign players a little more, I think. Where there's way
they're developing better.
Yeah, I don't even know if they're developing better. I think they are, but I think it's more so the game is changing a lot more. They're
able to watch a lot more basketball. There's guys going over there from America. If they don't have a job, they'll get paid a king's ransom over in Europe. But David Blatt, that's where David Blatt made a bunch of money when he went coaching over there. Teams like that.
Teams are playing small ball now, and they see it successful with Golden State and
Bender is Croatian too. So So he plays for the Croatian national team. So it's Tony Kukoc is from Croatia. So Croatia's really good at developing sport. They have their own formula. Even with soccer, they're really coming on strong as a country that's got a lot of good players in it. But it's gonna be obviously a couple years away. The Celtics can totally afford it. It's not really a big deal at all. They send guys down to the D League all the time. Rozier, R.J. Hunter, James Young, they all go down there all the time.
Right.
But Danny also never falls in love. Danny Ainge loves the guys that stayed in college. He knows what he's watching. That's why he loved Marcus Smart, chose him. Kelly Olynyk over the Greek Freak. So it really depends on what Danny's going for here and if the Celtics want to trade it. And still, at the end of the day, like we were just discussing, where the balls drop. It really depends where those ping pong balls drop, because if the Celtics aren't there, he might slide.
You know what? And for the Celtics, at least in their case, because you guys are both sitting here in the studio as Celtics fans, you're not at a loss if you don't get Bender, because if you end up getting 22nd and you got Sabonis there and you take Sabonis,
they have 16.
Yeah,
they have Dallas's pick.
Yeah,
so they could take Sabonis could even be there too, even if they want to take.
And you have 22 also. You have three. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
yeah. They could also go.
They got another foreigner.
They could go take Labissiere.
Luau from France.
They could take Labissiere or Thon Maker. Go take him as a safety pick in the 16 and 22.
You could stash one of them.
Danny can do a lot of things here. He could trade, but at the end of the day, we can't say much until he goes and does his combine workout,
and until the balls drop. Also, we'd like to speculate as much as we can, but we're still a month from the ball drop.
So, anyways, most Bender's definitely going top 3, top 5 for sure, depending on who has the pick and what they think of him. But definitely a project over time. He's really got the potential to be one of the best big men in the NBA for sure, and probably for years to come. So, if you were to take him, you have him 3. You still have him behind Simmons.
If everything holds the way it is, I still think 3 to Boston. If you guys still have it there, is
you think Phoenix takes him? Phoenix has that.
I think if Phoenix has it, then yeah, you take him. I think there's nothing wrong with putting him behind Tyson. He would see, based on Tyson's minutes that he gets, he'd see like the 12 to maybe 15 that they want. You'll learn how to be a better defender behind Tyson. I think it's great. I think it'd be a great fit in Phoenix. Better than Boston, to be honest. But, of course, Boston, it would help Boston way more.
Well, Boston does need a big man.
Right. It'd help Boston more than it would help Phoenix.
Also, it's a little – because there's rumors about Horford coming.
Right.
So if you give Horford the max, but you can't even
can't screw this up because you got 3 first-round picks, you got free agent sign. I mean, it's easy.
There's so many ways he could go
that he could screw up. Yeah, but so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But
but worst case scenario, they screw up. They're still a rebuilding year.
Yeah,
and they got the 5 seed.
Yeah,
so it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyways, Dragan, that was about Dragan Bender. We'll be coming back in a few minutes for PMP Sports with Pyro,
Puccio, Matt, and Pyro. Huh?
It actually does go back to PMP.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We didn't plan that out. All right, Big Dance. See you next week.